Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to another slow game. I'm playing my buddy yummy2 here. In the past, he's played the Accelerated Dragon against me. This time he's playing a Roy Lopez, and I'm just coming off a loss against Jeffrey Zhang. He beats me every freaking time, and in that game I move kind of slow. So I think I'm gonna try to go a little faster today. We'll see if I can actually do it. So far, so good, right? All right, what do I do? A4 here? The thing is, if C3, he goes D5. So I just do this to avoid the marshal. I don't want any marshal gambits, man. And then I gotta remember, how do I play the position? We're playing 25-10, plenty of time, but I'm just sick of spending lots of time. Like the last game, it really killed me. Oh, the last game was tough because I got in this like position I didn't understand so well. Pretty sure D3 is the move. Um, Sorry. Hey guys, sorry, I just paused the video. I had to make sure my opponent remembered the game was being recorded before he started telling me all kinds of random things. I was worried he'd give away his identity because I know he wants to be anonymous. If you remember my game against, I played this guy twice, and one second, I'm trying to remember what to do here. I think knight d2 is fine. I remember the knight goes to c4 someday, but I can't remember exactly. I just can't remember anything. I know h3 happens someday. Oh, I remember now. He goes knight a5, bishop a2, c5, knight c4, knight c6, h3. That's the main line. Amazing that I remember. And the position, in my opinion, is like slightly better for white. Small, slightly better. But it's something. It's a playable position. So I'm cool with it. Anyway. What? Yeah, it's just theory. Knight a5. I think if bishop e6 is also a move. And I don't know. I'm just gonna chill out in that position, I guess. Maybe knight c4. It looks kind of normal, right? Bishop e6, knight c4. I sort of like it. Other possibilities: bishop e6, h3. I don't want to waste time on these silly moves early in the game. I want to have loads of time for later on when it counts. Because that's why I'm killing it in 5-minute chess, 3 minutes chess. Lately, I'm just whooping everybody. But the problem is, in the slow game, that last slow game I played, I had no time left to deal with some key moments. So I was doing all right in that game, but I just kind of like played a bunch of bad moves, and you can easily get intimidated when you're low on time. So I'm just gonna go here, whatever. I don't know if it's the best move, but like I said, man, I'm just gonna make some quick moves today. That's the way it's gonna be. Maybe he thinks it's theory. I mean, how bad can h3 be, right? It's like a completely standard move to make in such positions. And I could sit around thinking, what's the difference between knight c4, h3, knight f1, whatever. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm just going to go h3 instantly. What's he going to do about it? And if he goes knight a5, I do the same thing. Bishop a2, c5, knight c4. And we have a very playable position. I'm probably going to go knight c4 next move. I didn't want to do it, before h3 because bishop h4, I don't know, bishop g4 maybe would be like minutely annoying. Maybe. So I figure, why not stop it? Let's just try to make every move like instantly this game as an experiment. I mean, because this is not a rated game, and I think I can play fine making fast moves. Let's just play like my last opponent, like just be a total jerk off and just make every move instantly. Until I can't. Until I can't do it anymore. It's not a jerk. It doesn't make me a jerk off. It's just like very annoying when your opponent never thinks. Um, anyway, I have some water over here. So good. It's cold. I get very excited by little things like cold water. I really need to win this game because this month's tournament, or this tournament, I have a half out of 2 to start, and I need to pick up the pace. Okay, let's just go knight c4. Whatever, man. Well, I'm stopping knight a5 with this move, which looks somewhat convenient. The downside is it allows bishop e6, and it's like some kind of pin type situation. But I don't know. Seems okay for me. Maybe bishop d2. I could go pawn to a5 also. Bishop d2 just looks useful enough to me. Or maybe knight h2 is also a good idea, but I'm worried you can go d5. A5 and like bishop a4 type ideas, is that any good or is that just weird? It's probably just weird. Let me do this. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Develop my bishop. Whatever. So okay, he's starting to come up with like plans. God, I feel like there could be some weird tactics. Well, oh no, he wants to go knight to c5, right? Maybe I should go knight bishop e3 now. Because then if knight c5, I can take on c5. Because actually is an annoying move if he goes knight c5. I don't really like the look of that. Yeah, let's just go bishop e3. Because he's retreating a little bit. Like, maybe d4 next move is strong. Because now this knight's not on f6 anymore. And if knight c5, I take and take on e5. So, do you like how I just calmly go bishop d2 to e3? No problem. It takes me 2 moves to get from c1 to e3. But that's how I feel that I'm going to just play quickly, and I have no shame in taking 2 moves to get from c1 to e3. And it makes sense. I mean, knight c5 is a pain in the butt. You know, you just have to reevaluate the position that you have, even if it's kind of like psychologically unpleasant to, you know, it's like annoying to have to go back or have to that I didn't go there to begin with. The thing is, if I went bishop e3 to begin with, he wouldn't have played knight d7. So now the question is, what if knight b6? What should I do? I mean, I think I'm probably would just take it with something. And the thing is, let's say knight b6. Let's say I go. I can't figure out bishop takes or knight takes. I don't know. Actually, some interesting things. Knight b6, knight takes, bishop takes b3, knight d5, bishop takes, pawn takes. Knight has to go somewhere, and then I go d4. I don't know. Another idea is if he goes knight b6, just knight takes, bishop b3, cb3, cb, and then like some kind of rook a1, rook c1 type move. All right, now d4 is starting to get tempting. This is like what I was hoping for, and I thought I might get some nice pressure in his position. How hard is it? Like, do I have to think about it much or no? Can I just do it without any concern? Probably there's no concern, right? Just grab the center. Look at the speed, man. All right, so pawn takes, knight takes. It's just kind of annoying, right? I get like, is it really annoying? Or am I just being delusional? I don't know. Like pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes. Maybe it's nothing special. Well, we're gonna have to do this anyway. I think I should have thought a little more, but who knows? Well, knight takes bishop. I mean, because if queen takes bishop f6, looks like silly to allow that. If bishop takes c5 makes a weak d pawn. I'm just gonna take with the bishop. Maybe he'll go bishop f6 now, but then I can maybe take and go e5 or something, or maybe yeah, take an e5 looks interesting. The thing is, if he ever takes on b3, like say my knight on c4 moves and he takes my bishop on b3 and I take back with the pawn, that's not such a weak structure because I get the open c file. So even though I have these doubled b pawns in that situation, it's not so bad, is what I'm saying. Petition looks alright to me. I'm feeling okay. Maybe next move like queen f3 or queen d2 and then rook a to d1. Just kind of chill out. Knight a5 is playable in some positions. Like knight a5, bishop b3, knight c6 is actually an interesting idea. I mean, it's almost winning, actually. I mean, if he takes on b3, it's almost winning. He doesn't have to take. He can do something else after knight a5. But it's just kind of interesting. And look at the speed. I have as much time as I started with. I mean, he's a strong player. Very strong, sharp player. So, I mean, I definitely have to be careful. I can't I can't just be blitzing him out the whole game. But I feel like they've been making pretty logical moves thus far. I feel okay with my decisions. You know what's an interesting move? Bishop a7. And if rook b7, knight a5. Rook a7, knight c6. It's interesting. It's probably not good. It's just... Because after bishop a7, you can also just go rook a8. But it's just kind of funny. It's just a funny looking move. I'm not going to really do it because of rook a8. Bishop takes g7 never really seems to work. If c5 is d-pawn's weak. I mean, I like the way things have gone so far. You know, moving quickly. I seem to have a fine position. Probably psychologically, you may think I know more than I do because I've been making so many fast moves. But I really don't. I'm just coming up with stuff. But you never know. That's the thing. Like when your opponent just moves fast, you don't know how much they know, and it can be like a little scary. And if you remember last tournament, this guy did actually quite poorly. He beat the highest rated player, but like he lost like I'm gonna look it up off screen. He had a tough result. He had like 1 out of 5 or something like that, maybe even less. And the tournament before he did really well. So right now he maybe has like low confidence. And if you recall, I beat him very quickly last time we played. Like so. Just want to make people feel, the more you can make somebody doubt themselves, the worse they're going to play, the slower they're going to play, the more likely they are to blunder, play passively, whatever. So, just, those are the reasons for why I've been some of the reasons why I've been going quickly. My bishop on d4, there's always weird ideas of like, I don't know, like queen g4. But I mean, there's a bishop can capture my queen. It's just the bishop on d4 has some power if like weird things happen. Let's calculate bishop f6. It looks like a very logical move. Let's say bishop... first, I can go e5 immediately if I want, which might be a good move. But let's say I go bishop takes, knight takes e5. He probably has to take. And then I can take with the knight, which to me, it feels like I'm better there. I just feel like my knight on e5 is very well posted. Yeah, I just like it. I like that position for me. So, and his queen's a little uncomfortable. I have the center. My pieces are a little more advanced. His knight on d7 doesn't have like a perfect square. He can go to b6, but then I can do knight takes, and his d6 pawn gets really weak because I have an open file against it now. So it's just all kind of like a little bit annoying for him. Also, if knight c6, I can play knight a5 still. Or I can just bishop takes d6 and bishop takes b6 and knight takes d6 also probably just wins a pawn instantly. So like that eliminates that option. If knight c5, I mean, probably I can take it and then go like knight e5 or something of that nature. Should be all right for me. Knight c5. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Knight, let's say knight e5. Bishop takes b3, knight c6. I think in that case he can go bishop f6. And after knight takes rook, he can just go bishop back to e6. Oh wait, no, then I can go knight c6. And my knight probably escapes. Yeah, it should escape. Yeah. Interesting. Sorry if that variation's too quick for you, but you can open up a board, play through the moves. There's nothing I can do because I'm playing a live game, so I can't really demonstrate it. But this is a great situation, right? 14 minutes to 24. Fantastic. Any moment, when you're in time pressure like this, blunders happen so much more frequently when somebody's kind of like moving fast and you're like, all right, bishop f6. So I'm gonna think for a moment here because I just want to make sure I get the right choice. And bishop takes, knight takes e5. It looks very logical. He probably has to take, and I go knight takes. If he goes rook d8, the thing is he puts his rook in like a bad square because knight c6 is in the cards. I think I'm just gonna do it, but let's hold off a second here. Let me examine this bishop a7 move again. No, it doesn't work now because the bishop's off of e7. I mean, I think it's good for me. Let's look at e5 right away. Pawn takes, knight takes. It looks less good. I like the knight hopping into c6 and all these variations. Let's just go for it. Ooh, pre-moved it. Any reason not to go e5? Can't imagine. What about knight a5? Let's think. E5 feels right. Opens up my rook. But knight a5, bishop takes bishop. I'm just gonna go e5, man. I don't have enough positional subtlety to understand why I shouldn't. It does give him a d file, that he can temporarily use. I just somehow I feel like the advantages I get are more valuable. Just think for a second before I take with a knight. All right, I'm gonna take with a knight. Oh, I just like this position, man. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Bishop b3, knight c6. Is it good? Maybe. It's definitely worth looking at. There's a problem with it. It's unfortunate, but bishop b3, knight c6. If he just moves his king, well, and I take the rook, then he can go bishop d5. And I can't move my knight. So I can't really take the rook in that situation exactly. But it's still an interesting move. Because if he moves if he moves the king away, then I take his bishop, and then he goes like rook, I don't know, b6, then I go rook c1. It's just kind of like a little unpleasant for him, I think. Tough to say. Tough to say what I should do if he takes my bishop. I kind of like my knight on e5, actually. Like, it's kind of menacing. They both look good. I mean, bishop takes bishop, knight c6 looks good, as does pawn takes bishop. I can't figure out which I like best. I mean, bishop takes, knight c6. Somehow king h8 looks like the right move to me. And then pawn takes bishop, rook b6, probably. Rook b6. And then rook c1 feels right to me. I just feel like I'm better there. I mean, rook e8 he can play, and then it just feels good to me. Like I can go a5 there. Rook b6 immediately. Alright, so he doesn't have to capture, which is like kind of annoying. The knight g6, is it any good? Probably not. If a5, rook d6. Queen f3 looks like the standard kind of annoying move to make here. But I should think, because it's a move I didn't consider, so I should definitely not like blitz out a move. If bishop takes bishop, he's going to take with the rook. And what happens then? Bishop takes bishop, rook takes. I don't know. I don't know. Queen f3 feels like the right move still. If queen a8, queen takes, rook takes. I don't know. It's a little annoying after queen a8. But then maybe I just go queen f4 then. Or something like that. I don't know exactly. What if knight c4? Rook c6, probably. Queen d4. It looks weird after c5. I'm probably going to go queen f3. Just do it. All right. At some point, I just realized I'm probably going to make a move. And then just, this game, man, I'm just going to go with my gut. Queen a8 looks like a normal thing to do. Are there any tricks there? I don't see any. I'm always looking for knight f7 type moves. But they don't seem to work. His pawns are just like a little looser than mine, is the thing. Okay, so here's one thing I can do. Like queen a8, just trade on a8, take on e6, and after rook takes knight to d3. And I'm attacking his b pawn, and I'm threatening rook takes e6, messing up his pawns a little bit. So he would go rook takes rook, I would go rook takes rook. He might go like a5 or knight d5 or something. But I have an initiative there. My pieces are better, his pawns are weaker, easier to attack. The position is definitely like some kind of advantage for me. So queen a8, I feel like I can do something at least. If he goes c5, I mean, that makes sense, definitely. Kind of looks like a good move. I can think about knight c4 then, though, and also if c5, maybe I probably can't go rook d1 because if he can go c4. But maybe I can go knight c4, and then when he moves his rook, rook a to d1. Just kind of put pressure on his d6 square, perhaps. He does get the d5 square to use. I just don't think it's super valuable. Wait, after c5, I can also play a5. And then if rook d6, I don't know. Interesting. Knight g6 is always like some weird looking move, but I don't think it's so good. Look at that clock, man. I love it. I love it so much. Because this is exactly what happened to me the last game, and it was so unpleasant. All right, rook e8, very logical move. Just put your rook in the square that it belongs. Cannot argue with that move. Alright, so a5 is one possibility. If rook d6, then I don't know. Alright, he's playing some good moves now. Gotta give him props. Rook a to d1 is playable, I guess. But then like he'll take on b3 and maybe just go rook to e6. I'm kind of thinking about going knight to d3? Or is that just too passive? If knight c6, he's slightly frozen. Well, he's not really frozen. Knight c6, bishop b3. That's the question. Is that like tough for him or not? Knight c6, bishop b3, pawn takes b3. I'm threatening knight e7 check. And let's say he goes rook takes rook, rook takes rook, queen. I don't know, or maybe king h8 or something. But it does seem better for me, that position. I don't know how much better. It does seem better. It does seem nice. So knight c6 is one option. Life is good when you're up on time. Just sit here and enjoy it. Enjoy things. uh, let's see. What else? What else? What else? Knight f7. I always look at it because I can't help myself. Knight f7. His only move is he has multiple moves. King takes or bishop takes. So that's not going to work. All right, a5. Rook b5 is bad because of bishop a4. So if a5, rook d6, knight c4. I don't know. Rook to d4 or something. Well, then queen c6 is like. I can't tell if it's annoying or not. I don't like letting his rook get that active, honestly. What was up with knight c4 right away? I forget. What does he do with his rook? He has to go back to some b8 type square. I guess he has. No. Knight c4 first actually looks like an interesting move. Because if he moves his rook back, that's like useful for me. And then I have queen c6 type moves. Or rook d1 or something, just like standard move. I think that's what I'm going to do, just knight c4. Okay, retreat. Anytime he goes bishop takes knight, I feel like I just have a bishop that's pretty strong in this position. So I'm never really too worried about that. And when he moves the rook back, like rook to b8 looks normal. It's just kind of like a little unpleasant. And then I have ideas. I don't know if queen c6 is any good. It's probably nothing special, but I would probably go rook a to d1 if he moves his rook back. And just I feel like all of my pieces are in the middle of the board, and it's just like a little unpleasant for him. And he could try queen b7 at that point, but it's like I trade and then go like knight a5 or something. It has to be some advantage for me. Just a question of how much. But I'm cool with a small advantage, man. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. I think rook b8 is just like super normal here. If bishop d5, I just take his rook because knight takes c8. All right. What was I gonna do? Rook d1. Rook d1, rook d1, rook d1. Anything wrong with it? I don't think so. I just want to stop his pieces from coming to the d5 square. So it seemed like a good move. Like no bishop d5, no knight d5 crap. Just eliminate all that stuff for now. And let him figure out what to do. He may try queen b7, but like it's definitely a little, a little unpleasant. These this endgame. Because all my pieces are pretty well posted. See, queen b7, take, knight a5, rook b6. Let's just say I take everything again on e6, and then I play like, okay, I didn't even think about that move. Somehow it felt risky to me because now I can take and go knight e5, and I'm threatening both knight c6, and I'm threatening bishop takes e6. So it felt really, really shaky to me, this move. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I have a bad feeling about it for him. It just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right at all. Rook takes, queen takes, knight a5. Like if rook b6, I mean, I'm just better. I'm just much better in that position. Rook d6, queen d6. Uh, God, it looks so good, right? um, he's queen d2. Then I have rook d1. So rook takes, queen takes, knight a5. I definitely like it. I mean, even queen c6 right away looks like a good move. But okay, let's look a little more critically. How can I not do it? It looks so strong. Rook takes, knight a5. Like he goes rook b6, I go knight c6, right? I think, or I can even take on e6. Rook takes, pawn takes, and I'm just much better after knight c6. Or some move like that. Maybe even, I don't know if knight c6 is the right move there, but sorry if I'm being confusing. Um, oh, you know what? No, there's a problem. There's a problem with this line. Okay, the problem is rook takes, queen takes, knight a5, bishop b3, knight c6, queen d2. And if rook d1, queen c2, it's a problem. So things change. Rook takes, queen takes, knight a5, bishop takes. Now I have to do something else. And it's just not as good as it was earlier. So I have to not do that, probably. Maybe knight a5 right away. It looks pretty good. Knight e5 also looks pretty good. I'm just going to make a choice in a minute here. Rook takes rook, queen takes queen c6. I'm attacking his a pawn. What's he going to do? So that's another idea. He can go queen back to c8. It's obviously like still a pretty unpleasant position, but I'm not sold. I'm not like completely in love with it. So I'm probably gonna do something simple now, just like knight a5. I can't quite see like a better way of dealing with this situation. Knight a5, bishop takes. I was gonna go pawn takes, but one moment, folks. I'm trying to find some tricks, but I can't seem to find any. trying to make that one variation work. I just can't seem to do it. All right, let's just go for a new strategy. We're up 5 minutes. Let's keep it that way. Are we gonna do knight a5 immediately? Can't even remember, man. I think knight a5 and if rook takes, rook queen takes, and just control some files. Somehow looks okay to me. It's nothing special either. Knight e5. Maybe I should centralize instead of putting it on a5. I don't know. Yeah, maybe knight e5. Doesn't look so special though. More water time. All right, now I'm freezing up. It's good though. I build up some time, so I'm allowed to freeze up a little bit here. Knight e5. I don't really know what to do. I'm just gonna do this. I give up. Just couldn't find a good move. It's funny. Whenever the longer you think, like the more likely you're gonna, less likely you're gonna find anything good. The longer thinks are always like some random ass move that you really didn't want to play. I wasn't even sure to take with the rook or the queen here. Probably gonna take with the rook, and if bishop takes, I'm probably gonna take with the. I was gonna take with the pawn, but I can also take with the queen, and then I have like both my pieces on open files, sort of. I'm not sure how great it is, but I'm gonna take with the queen. What the hell? Use your guts. Use my gut instinct. Bishop takes again. I need to look at knight c6. It could be a good move. Bishop takes bishop. Knight c6. King somewhere. Somehow it feels like it would be better now than it was in that other position, but I can't figure out why. It somehow feels like it should be better. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'll do it. Like, I feel like I'm gonna go knight c6 if he goes taking on b3. And then, but I'm not gonna take the rook if he goes like king h8. Because if I take the rook, bishop d5, and it looks troublesome. So instead, what I would do is like knight c6, king. Bishop takes b3, knight c6, king h8. Just take back on b3. Now I'm attacking his rook, so rook b6 probably. And then I was thinking like knight. I mean, like knight e5 attacks the f pawn. Knight d8 for some reason might be annoying. I think I'll just do it. See what happens. Maybe king f8. I didn't see that move. But somehow it just seems destructive to me. This whole thing with knight c6. Let's just do it. So, king h8, knight b8, rook d, bishop d7, d5, sorry. And I couldn't find, let's say c4. c4 looks ridiculous for many reasons. Just checking, man. Queen b7, I did not even think about that move. Well, fortunately, I'm not losing. But somehow, it feels like I should have a way to, like, I don't have a way to make something happen here. I mean, the thing is, I can always go knight e7 or knight a5 or something. Knight e7 is safer. But it just seems like I could have a trick. If I just think hard, maybe I'll find it. Let's think. Knight b8. What are his options? I mean, bishop e6 looks like I can take and go knight d7, and I like it at least like slightly better there, I think. Well, maybe it's not even that special. Let's see. One second. Knight b8, bishop d5. And that's obviously the key move for him. So the question is, can I find a good move there? I'm not really seeing one, honestly. Unfortunately, so this is not ideal. Man, man, man. All right. It sucks. And position should be okay for me still, but it sucks. Knight b8, bishop d5. I always look very hard for like tricks. Rook e5, but you can always take on b8, and we trade everything, and maybe I'm slightly better, but probably not really. Knight e7, king f8, pawn takes bishop. I just want to make sure I'm not worse here for some reason. Rook e8, knight f5. I mean, this should be okay for me. Rook takes, queen e4. I mean, it should be okay, but it's not like knight e3 there. I mean, I feel like I'm probably fine in that position, but it's just unfortunate. Let's keep looking. One second. Knight a5, bishop c2 is an annoying problem. I think it's a problem. Yeah, basically. One second, guys. Focusing. I mean, just want to make sure knight e7 isn't losing, because it could get like tricky somehow. Knight e7, king f8, pawn takes bishop. Like, would have g6 looks crazy, but like my knight's kind of like, it really doesn't have that many squares. So, I mean, the problem with g6 though, it makes so many holes in this position that I feel like I'm gonna have a good move. Just don't know what it is exactly, but my gut tells me it's impossible that works for him. Because if it does lose, I have to just take on b8 and suck it up and try to defend this position. So take on b8, bishop d5. Okay, because I have moves like queen d3, and then I take the a pawn, and I get like 2 pawns for the. I get 1 pawn, but it's like an outside pass pawn, which I mean, it might be good for me, honestly. Let me look at that some more. Knight b8, bishop d5, queen to d3. Queen b8, queen a6. I mean, pass pawns are strong in endgames, man. And sorry, especially in like rook, when you have a rook, they're very strong. It's like I'm not sure that I'm not better there. That's the thing. Whereas I'm pretty sure I'm not better after knight e7, but I might be worse. That's the thing after this idea I'm talking about. So knight e7, king f8, pawn takes, rook e8. Hmm. Knight f5, rook takes rook, queen takes, queen d5 even. Oh, then I have. Mm, I've taken b4 or something. No, I don't, because he can take an f5. Somehow that should be okay for me. I can queen e7 and knight h6. But knight b8, bishop d5. Let's keep on looking. Queen to d3. Queen b8. Bishop c2 is playable there, though. Is a thing. Somewhat playable. It's very risky to go knight b8. Like very, very risky. I'm just gonna eat up all my time thinking about. I should just go for a draw, man. Just go knight e7. I'm just gonna evaluate it for one more minute. Knight b8, bishop d5, queen e d3, queen take. I mean, bishop takes the stupid g2 is also scaring me to death. Um, just like could be annoying, you know. Probably it's okay for me. I can go like knight d7 there. I can't be worse, right? I just don't see how I can possibly be worse there. So I'm going to assume that I'm okay in that line. So knight b8, bishop d5, queen d3, queen takes, queen a6. What's the evaluation in a position like this? My goal is just start moving that pawn up the board. If only queens were off the board, it would be really nice for me, I think. So let's see, queen d3, bishop d5. Sorry, knight takes, bishop d5, queen take d3. Oh, man. Very difficult for me to evaluate this position. All right, I'm just gonna wuss out. I don't know. I mean, I'm scared of queens on the board. I'm scared to like get some attacks somehow. But I could be wrong. I just wish I had a little more time. But whatever. I'm the one who used it. I'm just scared that like I'm missing something here. I'm just gonna get my knight trapped or something. And then like I'll feel really stupid because I had this opportunity to go for something interesting and I didn't. All right. So brutal. Let's move fast. I was expecting like queen e4 next, but I don't know if it's that good. What was I gonna do? I was thinking knight e3 after that. It seemed like slightly annoying. But then he has knight d5, queen d2, knight takes. I mean, the position looks alright for me. Another thing, I could trade queens and go knight e3. I can go like knight d2, and go knight d5, take some b3. I mean, take on b4. Somehow it should be some kind of draw. It's a shame. I was obviously better, and now I'm like dealing with this garbage. Uh, so queen e4, knight e3, knight d5, queen d2, knight takes e3. I can go queen takes e3, but the endgame looks, if anything, better for black. Hmm. Here's the problem I have with this position is that queen e4, queen takes, knight d4. Should be fine, but like c5, knight c6. There's something a little awkward about this position. Like, it's like my knight could get trapped on a6 if I try to win that pawn. Honestly, it should be fine for me. Knight e3, knight d5 is just a pain in my ass. I don't think I'm willing to go for that. Otherwise, I could have some small advantage there otherwise, but not in that line. I think. Let's just think about it for a second, though. Hmm. Man. Grr. What was I gonna do? Knight queen takes queen. Let me just calculate that one more time. Queen takes queen, knight takes queen, knight I don't like knight e3. I like knight d4. And then f5, my idea is knight c6. Alright, I'm just gonna do this. Hold on. Knight e3, c5 looks annoying. I'm sorry, knight e3. Yeah. Somehow it looks annoying. Let's just go knight d4. Because if c5, knight f3 actually is pretty safe looking. Like, what's he gonna do? Can't really do anything with his knight anymore. Oh, brutal life. If knight c5, I can just honestly, if knight d2, I was gonna go knight c6. I don't see anything wrong with it really. If c5, I think the safest bet is just knight f3. Just walk my king to e2 and then make some chess move. Looks pretty comfortably okay for me. Just trying to make sure I don't have anything better. I highly doubt. Knight c6, knight d2, knight b8. Knight takes a6. I do have a passed a pawn, but hard to imagine that's any good for me, especially with my knight kind of stuck over there. So I'm just going to go like knight f3. And then walk my king in. Should be a draw. Last time I was sure I'd draw against him. You guys maybe remember what happened. My first ever slow game that I uploaded. So I won't get too cocky right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a draw. Just king f1, king to e2 are my next two moves. So like he'll go king e7, I'll go king e1, king d6, king e2, king d5, and then I'll make some move like. I mean, the problem is still like a little annoying because his king might come. No, it's not annoying actually. I can just go knight e1, f3. It's hard to imagine a world in which he's better. Well, I have to be careful. We go c4. I mean, active king is paramount importance in a knight endgame. So, you know, it's important that I don't take this position too lightly. Maybe I should offer a knight trade in some position. I don't know exactly. All right, let's just go. No time to chit chat. No time to screw around, basically. So after king d5, now knight d2 might just be okay. Knight takes, king takes, but king d4, it's like a little unpleasant. So let's think. Knight e1 looks pretty standardish. The thing is, if he goes, oh, I have to be careful with c4. Maybe king e3. Kind of like that move. Seems like a safe starting move. Yeah, this is not going to be so... I need to not be too cocky here, because, I mean, he has the active king. He has ideas of c4, then bringing his king in, so I really have to be careful. If I can get my knight to d4, though, knight to d2, sorry, I think it's going to be pretty safe. You know what I just... No, I thought I realized something, but I didn't. Did I? No, I didn't realize anything. I thought maybe the king and pawning game's a draw, but it's too complicated to figure out with 2 minutes, so I want to avoid it, unless it's, like, obvious. But, like, knight d2, if that is a draw, it would be nice. It's just, like, very risky, though. So now I was going to go knight e1. Because he still can't go... No, he still can't go c4. Just make sure. Or maybe I should go g4. That makes a weakness on f4, though. Knight e1 looks right. Because when I go knight d3, it also stops. It stops c4 for the moment. Problem is he has this f4 crap. Okay, that's annoying. We're probably king d3, right? Whatever, man. Gotta do something. If c4... Man. I'll take, he'll go knight takes. I'll go b3, he'll go knight a5. And I have even knight c2 there. Or king c2. But I mean, knight c2 is also like in the cards that as a possible defense. And then knight to d4 after king c5 there. I think that should be like pretty solid. But you know, again, in a knight endgame, active king very important. As you remember from game 2 that I played against Dimitri Schneider back in April, you would have seen it. Check out that game, and you'll see what I mean about the active king. In a knight endgame, super important. So you have to really respect it. Oh, sorry. So that's what I'm doing. I'm respecting his king, man. I'm focusing. If I lose this stupid game, man, after that first time I lost to him, break my computer. If c4, I have to take, right? Well, no, I don't. But I will. I will take. But it's not forced. Alright, so he just wants to go straight up to, somehow his move, like, okay, it's an interesting maneuver. Definitely. I was gonna go knight c2 probably. And then knight e3 check. Somehow feels right. I'm just gonna do it. It's hard to imagine it's bad. Let's just check him. Whatever. If king back, like to c6, okay, for some reason I didn't see that move because I'm dumb. I have to go back. But I mean, knight c4 next move. Well, then he can maneuver to d4, which is a huge pain in the butt. So this is like a pain because my b3 pawn is just like knight c4, immediately knight to c6, king d3, knight d4, knight d2 though. Knight d2 is a beautiful square, honestly. I think the king and pawning game is going to be a draw. Maybe I should just go knight f1 though. That looks ridiculous, knight f1. I'm just worried that I'm like messing up this king and pawning game. It's not actually a draw. But I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I don't know, actually. See, knight f1 should be okay also. Oh, here I go again. Really, how could this endgame be losing? I mean, it might be, because this king's active, but Can I just go king d3 here? I wasn't even threatening to take the stupid ass pawn. Because I had king c4. So, alright, knight f1. What does he do? Like, what am I scared of there? I'm not sure. I'm just going to do it. Safer move. I'm just scared to go into that endgame. Knight g3 is actually winning a pawn if he, if he ignores me here. If he goes like, well, okay, he can go f5, but if he does something like knight c6, you know, no, then I'll just go knight d2. Actually, maybe I'd go king d3. Not sure exactly. Sucks, man. Sitting here having to defend like a jerk. So brutal. Wish I had all that extra time that I started the game with, right? When I was up 10 minutes. What was my move here? There's all this noise happening. Knight d2, I guess. Wait a second. Yeah. So stressful chess. I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm going to draw this. I should be careful because if I take with the wrong one, he gets outside pass pawn, which scares me. So probably I'm going to ignore him. Let's go like king d3 or something. I gotta be careful of the clock. H4 is also playable. I can't figure out. I'm scared to make this move, but I'm gonna do it. 24 freaking seconds. Greg, you suck. I'm worried his king will come in. Well, probably he can't come in, but it's just like a little unpleasant. Everything's unpleasant here. I mean, maybe I could have ignored him. I don't know. Maybe I should have went knight c6, c4 last time. I had a chance. I don't know. Crap. I can't do that. Can I? 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. We got problems. Maybe this move? I don't know. There's a problem. If king d3, he had, stupid move. This, knight c... I might lose now. I suck so bad, man. Oh my goodness. Alright. Keep focusing, but he had this knight takes b3, and I just didn't know if it was winning or lost. My king d4 looks pretty normal. Knight f1. King e4, knight e3, f4. It's very risky. I'm close. It's big trouble, just put it that way. I feel like I'm losing. I want my king on e2, I think. I just don't know how to make that happen. Oh, you know what? King... Oh, did that? Alright, now what? Is this endgame a draw? Well, I'm not going to have any time to figure it out, right? Jeez, let's figure it out. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. I have no freaking idea. I had no time left. I just had to make a decision. Quite possibly it was the wrong decision. You know, I had no time. What am I going to do? Is this for real? Well, I have no other option, right? I feel like I'm probably losing. I probably am losing this. This is like pretty bad. Like f4. I have to take. He's gonna win a pawn, basically. Oh my god, I'm the worst. Alright, Give me a second here, guys. One moment. It looks pretty losing, right? Alright. I'm not sure what I intend to accomplish here. Just looks losing. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Again, I lose this guy in a stupid position. So brutal. I'm not sure why he's thinking. Hey, just take the pawn, right? let me make sure though that I don't have some trick. But I mean, I think he just takes the pawn and then his king gets out and he munches my pawns and I lose. It's not super complicated actually. Maybe he'll just resign. um, take king f4, king h3, king f3, h4, king f2, king g4, king g. Yeah, really? It's the weirdest thing I ever saw. 1 second. I mean, I'm not sure what he's doing, but okay. I mean, h4 wins, so. I mean, unbelievably winning. I should just resign, obviously. But I'm showing you a few more moves to make it easier for you guys to understand why I'm the stupidest player ever. Wait, where am I? Oh, I'll go here. Maybe he'll stalemate me. I mean, you just move the king to c4, and he's going to take off my pawns and make a queen. So technically sound. He goes h2 first, and then he moves to get my pawns. Or no, he goes king f3 first. Pre-moved it. Alright, now I'm going to resign because he's going to take this pawn, and then he's going to make a queen. So that's the big disaster. Unbelievable, mother. Stupid game. My internet's not working. I'm trying to update the stupid result of this game. Somehow it's not letting me. He already did it. Couldn't wait. Couldn't wait to mark up his win. Anyway, it's just I don't know what happened. I mean, whenever you're worse in those types of positions, it's very tough. Shouldn't have done that. Oh, he's confused. Almost thought it was a draw. So he didn't see his king was getting out for some reason. He's tricks because he assumes I'm so strong that there's no way I would miss such a thing. Maybe. Anyway, give me a second here. Just setting something up. I just want to just analyze this game real quick in my chess base. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Such a brutal game, man. Oops. I don't think that whole line works at all. So I was definitely better at this game like the whole time. Udini agrees. I'm just looking real quick off screen. Doesn't like knight c6, of course. Otherwise, I think I'm like slightly better. It didn't like Queen takes d1. Also, it thinks rook takes d1 and I'm just better. It thinks I should have taken the rook and played queen d3 like I thought with like dynamic equality. And it would have been complicated. I think white's slightly better. I mean, I don't know. Somehow I feel like I should have done it because I knew I thought it was gonna be slightly worse here. I didn't think it would be that hard to defend, but obviously I was wrong. This king's active, you know. Just trying to see, was there ever any instant draws? Just checking in Houdini. It thinks. Oh no! Wait a second. So brutal. Yeah, I was just losing when I took his knight on c4. I had to do something else. Just hope for a miracle. But yeah, I mean, he played the endgame well. Obviously, I was much better the whole game. I mean, I was better in the opening. It's like I played well for a bit there. And Houdini likes pretty much all of my moves for a while there. Yeah, likes all my moves basically, like until move 25. Until it didn't like queen takes d1 that much, but even so, it didn't like knight c6. I was just I missed queen b7. And then once I missed this queen b7 move on move. People listening, yeah, this queen b7 was just stupid. Just an oversight. And yeah, I was just slightly worse. I mean, Houdini thinks I should have. It's funny, all the moves I made instantly were all good. You know how like I blitzed out every move until like move 24? All good moves. And then as soon as I started like thinking a bit, started to play bad. Playing weird moves. What like knight c4 on move something. Sucks so bad, man. Yeah, it didn't like this better. Which obviously pretty logical move, right? But I was trying to be like, I thought this might be good. I also thought pawn takes was pretty good. Oh man. And then the in-game, just looking off screen. I mean, he's just always slightly better. I mean, probably I could hold a draw, but it's really true in these knight and pawn endgames. Just The king activity is so crucial. Hmm. And once he played c4, it thinks I'm in big trouble. Basically, I'm just lost, it says. Just making sure, but it says, yeah, it's true, I'm just lost. So, interesting game. I lose, but, you know, what can you do? I mean, I didn't play that badly. I played a few bad moves, and then it's the thing, when you give up... The key to this game, don't accept, like, this kind of end game that's, like, slightly worse where you can't win. When you have, like, a more complicated variation, just go for it. You know, it's too easy for him. Like, he's just slightly better with no chances to lose, really. And I just shouldn't ever go for that when you have like an unclear choice. Just always. I mean, I didn't know the answer to the other one, but I thought maybe I was better. Maybe he was better. I didn't know. But in this one, it's just like this one that I did in the game with 97 was just not great. I mean, I think there's some good lessons from this game that might help me in the future. Like this is stupid. I shouldn't do this. I should just take Queen D3. Is he watching this? No. And you know, take. What's he saying? I'm sure I could have been able to draw. Like maybe I should have just gone to the queen endgame. Like this queen endgame is possible too, which I talked about. We just go knight e3, and if they're knight d5, you know, some move like this. Is he really gonna win this position? Come on, it's slightly better somehow, but I just don't see him winning it. And you know, it's all about different types of games. And Houdini actually evaluates this one as worse, like minus 0.2 for me, whereas the other one's like close to even. But in reality, I think the queen endgame gives me better defensive chances. Just somehow it feels that way. Just hard to win this position. Like, what's his plan, right? He can barely attack anything, and when he does, I just defend it. And it looks optically pretty, but he's gonna have to like push his kingside pawns in order to win, which is gonna be like very risky and very hard to accomplish. So I think I should have done that. I just didn't realize how much danger I was in. And the key is that active king is so important. You have to have a better feel for it. You have to really feel that it's gonna come in and even just one small. If it's in the 5th rank and you're in the 3rd, that's enough sometimes to just torture the hell out of you. You don't want that. Queen endgame's much better defensive chances, I think. So this is like a really, despite it being a rapid game, I think really instructive game that I really need to think about a lot. And it'll help me in the future. And it'll be a good lesson to show to kids because there's a lot of interesting moments. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry I lost. It's kind of brutal. Really didn't think I was going to lose this game. But, you know, he's a good player. And I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.